All right, we have some breaking Seahawks news. This was Mike Macdonald just seconds ago to reporters.
Connor early this week decided to retire. So personal reasons, we respect that. So wish him the best, and we got to move forward.
Is there any chance that he comes back? Do you think this changes his life?
I don't believe so. So we honor his wishes and keep all those reasons and conversations private for obvious reasons, and wish him the best. And Olu will play center for us right now, and we're excited for his opportunity. Like all these other guys that have had, these young guys that have had opportunities, and Olu's right there. He's been working his tail off, and he's got a great opportunity. We're excited to see him play.
When did Connor tell you that?
It's been a process throughout the week. So we'll make the necessary roster moves. I believe that happens tomorrow with all the designations and things like that. That'll happen officially tomorrow, I believe.
So again, I'm sorry for some of you that were waiting to hear from Kraken defenseman Brandon Montour. Kraken are cooking right now, 3 in a row. We're going to just reschedule and focus on them a little bit more next week. But obviously with this breaking news bump, we have to talk about the Seahawks starting center deciding. I don't know when Connor Williams decided this, but Mike Macdonald asked, when did you hear this news? It's been a process throughout the week. So I'm assuming Mike Macdonald has learned within the last week that his starting center is going to retire. Your reaction, Bump?
I'm surprised. He hasn't had the greatest season, and he's a veteran who signed a one-year deal, who was hoping to rejuvenate his career and maybe either play well enough to where the Seahawks would commit long-term to him, or maybe find somewhere else to be long-term. But this is surprising, man. He hasn't had the greatest, the last thing we remember of him isn't great.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel bad. I feel like, I hope this isn't just, an emotional decision he's making. I hope he's okay with it, because, you can come out of retirement, but to leave a team mid-season says a lot. And I'm sure his teammates feel a certain way about it. But it provides an opportunity for Olu. I would imagine during the bye week, he did a lot of reflecting. And he had time to think about it. How's my body feel? How's my mind? Maybe I'm not playing where I need to be. I just don't have the love for the game anymore. It's unfortunate, man, but it provides opportunity for Olu. And we're going to see a different offensive line. And I think some people can look at this situation and be optimistic, because you're going to see Olu. You're going to see a little bit of Abe. And this could spark something. But for the person, Connor Williams, I hope he's just completely okay with this decision, because walking away from the game is tough. At least he's walking away from the game on his own terms. A lot of people get booted out the league, and you never come back. But no, I was not expecting this.
So again, breaking news from Mike Macdonald that starting center for the Seahawks, Connor Williams, has retired. Macdonald says Olu Oluwatimi will start at center against the 49ers. They don't have a ton of depth there, so let's fingers crossed that Olu can stay healthy. Connor was coming off of a torn ACL suffered with Miami, when last year he was one of the better centers in football, having previously spent time at guard. So the Seahawks were obviously hoping that someone who had experience at center, had played well there, and was just kind of coming back from an injury, could get back into the swing of things. Again, Bump, you mentioned we don't know the reason behind his decision to retire, given that he had been coming off an ACL injury, and it started every game, but was coming off that injury. Maybe he felt like he didn't have it anymore. Maybe there's something else at play. We don't know, and both of us feel it's not fair to speculate. All we do know is that Connor Williams has told the team that he has decided to retire. He is not playing with them moving forward. Instead, it will be Olu Oluwatimi in that spot. What does it do for the chemistry of an offensive line? The good news is they get Abe back. You just wish that he was coming back to a group that had been playing together all year. Now you're going to have another shakeup.
Well, here's the reality of the situation. Connor wasn't playing very well.
Yeah.
So you get some fresh blood out there. You get new energy. You get a different type of player. And it does kind of mess up the chemistry, because even though Connor wasn't playing his best, he still knew Lincoln and Anthony Bradford, and they would communicate. And there are some things that they could communicate without even speaking. But Olu has been getting rest with the ones. He got rest with the ones in training camp, and then throughout the season, he's been sprinkled in there as well. The reason why Connor was brought here was to kind of mentor Oluwatimi and provide competition at that spot. And that's exactly what happened. I'm sure Olu learned some things from Connor Williams and provided some competition. This is, this happens in sports all the time. A lot of people get opportunities because of one's failures, or another guy moves on, and this is the circle of life in the NFL. It's unfortunate, but now I'm kind of I'm kind of excited to see what this line looks like.
Yeah.
When I looked at those snaps that went over Geno's head, Geno wasn't ready. He just wasn't ready for it. And if there's anyone who knows the snap count and knows when to be ready, it's going to be Geno, right? So there had to be some miscommunication going on there. And then I also think that Geno's done a great job protecting that offensive line, too. He has never stepped up there and said, this offensive line isn't getting the job done. But we got to step up in other areas. He always stood up there at the podium and took it himself. So I think this could be addition by subtraction. I think Oluwatimi could come in there and surprise some people, but he has a heck of a game in front of him going up against the 49ers. End of the day, you hope that Connor Williams mentally is in a good place because deciding to step away from a game that you grew up loving, that you went to Texas, you made it to the NFL, you reached the pinnacle in midseason deciding to retire, that tells me that there's a lot more going on with Connor Williams than people might assume.
I saw some people questioning, hey, Connor hasn't had a great season. At least 2 people texted in and said, hey, is it, kind of one of those things where it's a professional courtesy to a veteran, like they were going to bench him and maybe he decided to retire? I don't know, but I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't think so.
If they were going to bench Connor for Olu, they would have already done it.
Yeah.
Unless there's something in the contract that I don't understand, which sure. But this has been a struggling position all year.
Yeah, you could always, you can bench him whenever.
Sure.
The timing, I don't think the timing means anything. I think that if he didn't want to be with this team, he could have just asked to be traded or just be released. And the fact that he's leaving money on the table, too, lets you know that he just doesn't want to do it anymore. He had like a $3 million signing bonus. He had about $3-4 million left in his contract when it comes to game checks.
Yeah, he's
leaving that money on the table. He's walking away from money. So that tells he just didn't want to do it anymore.
866-979-3776. Bump and Stacy, do you think this decision could have been made 2 weeks ago to help the rookie? I think it was a Connor decision, and it doesn't sound like Mike Macdonald was aware of the decision until this week. At least what I'm reading from Mike Macdonald's response when he's asked, what's this process been like? And he said it's been about a week-long process for him.
If it's a week-long process, I'm assuming that they had conversations during the bye week or at the beginning of the season, and they're trying to make sure that Connor's doing the right things. Like, hey, go home and sleep on it and take the day off, and you come back and talk to us, because this isn't a decision you just make overnight. This is a big decision. You're ending your career. And he might wake up at the end of the season and say, okay, I want to get back at it. But again, the fact that he's walking away from money on the table lets you know that he just didn't want to do it. It could be his body. It can be his mind. His play hasn't been on point. You can question yourself. There's some things going on, but it provides an opportunity for a guy that I think Big Ray's been wanting to see, too, in Oluwatimi.
Additional updates from Mike Macdonald. He said the knee injury that Williams overcame, a torn ACL with Miami, is not a factor in the decision.
All right, there you go.
So he says, we'll keep everything in-house. We're not going to just go out and talk about Connor's decision, but his torn ACL that he suffered, that he's come back from this year, was not a factor in the decision. So, again, that breaking news just less than 10 minutes ago that Connor Williams, starting center for the Seattle Seahawks, who started every game this year, will retire. He decided to retire. He informed the team. Mike Macdonald confirmed it today at a press conference, also confirmed that Oluwatimi will start at center against the 49ers.